Hi everyone, this is Yosarian here, and in this video we're going to be going over the Ochette single story speedrun for Octopath Traveler 2. So before jumping into it, I just want to talk a little bit about the run. This route was originally come up with by Dahlia when the game first came out, and then there's been some tweaks over time by various runners to adapt it in certain ways, mainly around the soul stones you get and things like that. At the moment, this is in July 2023. The fastest time is 31:58 by Tachibana, Japanese runner. And then second place by myself, 33:14, I think. And then a few other like 33s and 34s after that for the 120 FPS category. So the run itself is pretty grind heavy in the sense that most of it's scripted, but a lot of it you just need to pray you don't get surprised in the later encounters. Because there's a lot of strong encounters you take, and you need to just continually roll the dice with your runs to hopefully not get surprised and not have too many deaths. But I will say overall the run's really fun. And stress-free in the sense that you don't have to think too much, you just have to pray that you don't get surprised. So in this run, I'm generally going to talk about three things at each point. First, I'm just going to talk about the optimal situation, what you really hope to happen. Then I'll talk about what you can generally expect to happen. And then I'll talk about like worst case scenarios for the battles and stuff like that. Also, I will say that we are going to play through the run. We might have some deaths, we might have some surprises. A lot of these might be just reset points, but we're not going to worry about that too much. So I'm not good at video editing. I will put a lot of stuff in the description below the video, including links to the notes and discords and my run and other channels and stuff like that for resources, because I just don't have the technical capability really to put much stuff up on the screen here. So with that said, I would say that if you're looking at running Octopath Traveler 2 or just the Ochette category, I think it's really fun. Of the runs I've done so far, which is most of them, I think it is the most fun single story. It's nice, it's quick, it's a good intro to Octopath 2, and I would say if you can put up a time in the 33 or 34 for 120 FPS, you are looking pretty good. Unless there's a new route discovered, you probably need a cultured Kate to hit a 31 or a 32. Like Tachibana did. You could probably get a high 32 with no cultured Kate, but getting a low 32 or 31 needs a cultured Kate. And I'll point out things that you can skip if you get this cultured Kate to save some time. So that said, I'm going to assume some familiarity with Octopath 1 and or 2 in this. Things such as like how the battles work, how the breaks work, how path actions work, stuff like that. But we're going to first just take a peek at these settings. Text language, whatever works for you. Voice language, whatever works for you. I like the Japanese. Ochette has some pretty funny sounding voice lines in Japanese. Pretty cool. Fastest message speed, short text display. Vibration, up to you. Cursor position, up to you. I like revert to original here and remember for the path actions. The FPS here is the important one. We are playing at 120 FPS, which is inherently faster than 60 FPS, and these are different categories on the leaderboard. To play 120 FPS and appreciate it, you generally need a pretty good monitor. I don't know all the technicalities of monitor specs and stuff like that, but generally you need a pretty good one. That said, you can play at 120 FPS on an older monitor, which is what I did when this game first came out. The only downside is you'll get screen tear, and it won't look quite as good, but it'll still function at the same speed and the same rate. So if you want to run 120 FPS, you don't actually need a top-of-the-line monitor. You'll just get a little bit of screen tear here and there. And then the screen resolution, everything is up to whatever you want to do. So the first important thing is, before any run in any category, you want to set up your fast forwards. I just do it with Oswald. But if you look at the bottom right here, We want to get the fast forward set up because this carries over between runs. It'll save us about a second in the Ochette run at the beginning. And we just quit on out of Oswald here. We don't need him anymore. So when we're doing this, we're going to go to new game. Ochette's the 4th. Look at that. She's pretty happy there. Doesn't matter day or night here though. And the timing starts when you begin your adventure. So you're going to begin and then just hold to skip the cutscene. We're going to time it just to see how it goes, but I'm not expecting a really good time or anything. So you do have a choice here between the two. We are going with Akala because Akala makes chapter 1 quite a bit faster. And then after chapter 1, we just don't need it. So we're not really concerned with what we're doing here. So one subtle thing I want to point out here is, it was hard to explain at the time, but you want to set the battle speed to 2 times before this comes up. So watch the bottom left of your screen. When it says battle speed 1, just set it to battle speed 2 and that'll make everything go quicker. So you skip the tutorial. First things first, we just do precise shot. This battle is scripted, so we're going to break. We're going to max provoke Akala. And then the iguana is going to come back. We're going to get the 2 text boxes, the tutorial, and then we're going to capture. And then that's good. Then we mash X and skip cutscenes. I'm going to go north up into the town here, Easting Village. And then here we're going to provoke for part of the story. So we just go provoke this villager. So this fight is just Akala twice and then Akala boosted once. Akala can miss here, and usually this is about a minute into the run, so if Akala misses you can just reset. So you just do single, single, and then just boost it to level 2, and then you'll go. So we hold to skip. I'm going to get a tutorial. Here's kind of an annoying menu to do, but it just takes practice. So you're going to push square for me, or whatever your button is, to do the path action. Monster, down, King Iguana, make jerky, and then also disable automatic capturing, because that can really mess with your speedrunning and your menuing. So you disable that, exit out, and then talk to this villager to give him the jerky. Now we're going to go on up here. We're going to buy a bow. Traveler's bow. Equip it. Exit out. And then we're going to go up here and see Juba. And then we're going to go back and we're going to leave the town. So in the next screen, you generally will only get 1 encounter, but sometimes you can get 2. You need to pay attention to where your encounter was. It just takes practice and eyeballing, but if you get the encounter before about here, you'll probably get a second encounter, so you'll need to walk towards the end. Ooh, that was pretty close. So this encounter breaks with the axe, and a lot of these early encounters are going to depend on your risk tolerance. How much consistency you want, how much risk you're going to be taking. So if you want to go the risky way, you can just try to flee everything. If you want a little reassurance, you can just break it. What I generally do is a combination here where I look at where Ochette is on turn 2. So here, Ochette's first on turn 2, so I think it's fine to flee because then there's only going to be 1 action. And if Ochette fails the flee first and then gets it the second time, it's about as fast as breaking and fleeing. If Ochette were second on turn 2, I would break for sure. So let's just try flee here, see how it goes. See, we failed there. We're first here. Oh, this is looking bad. Of course, in a demo run, it doesn't work out well. And we're gonna run here. Don't get too close to the dock there, or you'll trigger the tutorial for the boat, even though we're not taking the boat yet. So we don't want to do that. It's not a big deal if you do hit it, but we want to just avoid it for now. See? Got the other encounter. What did I tell you guys? Right about that spot, you need to walk a little. We can just break that one too. There's one screen to skip here. So we're going to run through this cave and we'll get a scripted encounter in here too. One thing I want to point out is when you go up the stairs, if you go straight right, you run into this. So for your pathing, be sure you cut down a little. So this encounter is always the same. I like to try to flee it, but that's because I was pushing a good time. If you want, you can always break this encounter. So you boost, precise shot, 1 on the Loris, 2 on the weed, and then you can just flee if you want. This is much more reliable than trying to flee. We go on over here. We get a cutscene. And then we're going to befriend the lost girl. Now here we're going to run up and around. And we're going to get this scripted encounter with 3 text bubbles. And then all we do here is we just do bow times 2. And it'll kill it. I want to point out that this battle levels you up. So if you get hurt in the previous battles, you don't need to heal because you will be healed by this fight. So these next 2 screens are a little frustrating because you can run the whole way and not get an encounter. But if you want to guarantee no encounter, you walk. Walking to here makes it about a 98% chance you won't get the encounter. You can walk a little further if you want. But we get a cutscene here. And I usually just walk about 3 steps and then come up here. So now we get the Dark Entity boss fight. This is scripted, but with bad turn orders, you can actually game over. So the first 4 turns, though, are exactly the same, so we're just going to use Akala 4 times in a row. I'm just going to breeze through that. Oops, except I'm going to mess up. Pretend that didn't happen. Then we just break. Now here we use precise shot times 2. I have an extra BP because I messed up. But precise shot times 2. He's going to hit you, and then you just use your jerky to heal. So after you heal, use Akala once. Now this is an important turn to pay attention to, just because you want to look at the turn order here. If you're first on this turn, you're always going to be good. But if you're second on this turn, and you take the damage from the Dark Entity, your health is going to be pretty low. And then in the next break, you can potentially get game over. But right now, we're looking good. So use hacks times 3, we're going to break. Then we're going to use precise shot times 4. So now he summons some spawns. Get a bunch of text bubbles. Usually that will be later. Usually in the next turn, but it shows up early because I attacked an extra time. So the first turn after this break, Thunder. And what can happen here is you want to use Akala here, and then the next turn we're going to heal. Now remember how I said if you get bad turn order, you can game over? This is potentially would have been a bad turn order because there's so many people before Ochette on the next turn. So I think we're actually going to live, but I think it's going to be pretty close. So we're going to do what we would normally do, which is Akala. And then we're going to take some damage here. We got lucky with the miss there, but that would have put me pretty low. If that would have hit, and then I would have been first on the other turn, then we would have died. But we're good. So, heal up. Then we just use Axe twice to break them. This fight can take a while depending on the turn order. like if all these little guys are before you. So we want to use axe. One thing I want to point out is if he eats the front fledgling, the cursor moves. If he eats a different one, it doesn't. So you see how it moved down to this fledgling? You can't just mash your X button or whatever your equivalent is, because it's going to change. So be sure you watch your cursor there. So once it's broken, we use our latent power, max it out, beastly claws. That can end the fight if you get a critical hit. You can hit for 1200 and end the fight there, which is really nice. It saves you a lot of time. Usually it doesn't though. So then to clean up, just max precise shot and that'll kill him. Usually takes about 5 minutes to do chapter 1 on 120 FPS. Now we have a bunch of cutscenes. So the first thing we want to do, you don't have to do this right away, but I like to do it, is you go to inventory and you unequip the bow. Because we don't need it anymore and we're going to sell it later. Run straight north. Skip 2 tutorials. Want to run to about this corner and then walk, because this is a long screen. We want to see how far we get. So this encounter is just like the one in chapter 1, you can break it. I'm going to purposely take another encounter just to see if we get something different. But generally you can run and you want to start walking at some point between here, depending on what encounters you got. Otherwise you might get 2 encounters on the screen, which is really unfortunate. Alright, I'm trying to show you guys stuff. Well, if you get the snail, that's double axe to break. If you get the wasp, that's double bow. And then we walk up into here. Now, you can see up in the top left, the boat is actually really far away. So we just walk out, go to our world map, TP, and we're right there. Then we take the boat to New Delsta. We're just going to run here. Be sure you get this chest. This is going to be important later to progress our run. This encounter breaks with axe. So does the one with 1 armor as well. All of these encounters can be broke except for the meep, the little sheep. That one you gotta flee from. You shouldn't get another encounter here though, after you get the first one. Then we're gonna run this way. We're gonna tag the abandoned village. Should get an encounter right about here. Same one, caught by surprise. Not a big deal other than the time loss. So we're gonna run, but we should walk a little bit towards the end, just to guarantee we don't get the encounter. Now we're gonna get the town tutorial here as well, so just mash cancel when you get there, and then walk on out. So the next 2 screens, there's a little bit of difference here between the Switch and the PC version. So on Switch, you have a higher step count, which is kind of weird. But here, it's, we'll say, lower. So you need to walk on this screen and the next screen. You can still get an encounter if you're walking, which is, to be honest, really frustrating. But, you know, we're going to walk and hope for the best. You want to keep your movement as good as possible here, because every step is going to matter. And we were lucky there. This next one, same thing. You want to keep your movement as good as possible, and then we're just going to barely tag Oswald on his feet to save a couple steps, which is great. We didn't get an encounter. Skip through all this stuff. Now instead of walking back, we're just going to TP back to Abandoned Village and run on out of here. We're going to go down and tag New Delsta. We'll get an encounter here. So this is weak to both ice and bow. So if Ochette's first, you just use your bow. If Oswald's first, I like to run personally, but you can use ice if you want, so we're just going to do that. If you get the double birds, then you definitely want to use ice or precise shot, which can hit both of them. Now we're going to go down to New Delsta. Oswald really can't do much here, so we're going to try to flee. And then we got lucky. Ochette can break it though. So we're going to tag New Delsta, and then we're actually going to go get Casti. So we're going to TP south, back to the Beasting Bay anchorage. Take it. Be sure you go down and click the second one. We don't need to do the boat to New Delsta again. But we come to Canal, and we get Casti. You just mash through these. Now we need to do one more thing. We're going to get the boat tutorial. We're going to go here. We're going to buy the critical earring. We're not going to equip it. So you just hit cancel. Because we need that critical earring later for Inventor. So after we get Casti, after we get the critical ring, TP back to New Delsta. Now we go get Throne. Of course we save the puppy. So Ochette first is nice here. You want to boost, precise shot, 2 on the front one, 1 on the back one. She can miss a shot there, which is pretty annoying. If so, then you want Oswald to just boost his ice on this turn, or use ice on this turn. But if things go according to plan, you have Casti attack the left one, Ochette break them, Oswald defend, and then here you just do max fire and it'll kill him. Similar to before, this will level everyone up, so if you took some damage trying to get to New Delsta, don't worry about it. Gonna get a bunch of loot here. First, we're gonna steal some small soul stones. Steal all 3 of those. We're gonna go buy. Want to buy 3 unerring earrings. We're gonna put 2 of them on Throne, and then 1 is for Inventor later. So we are going to equip them. We go down to Throne, equip 1, equip 2. So you have to push the button to switch your attachments, whatever that is on your controller. For me, it's the, I use a DualShock 4, so it's the big trackpad in the middle. Good way to tell if it works is if Throne's accuracy goes up to 108. Then we go around here. I'm going to steal the coin. As we're moving up here, make it night. And then we're going to put this girl to sleep. This will give us some money and some items. Make it day, and then we're going to go steal the rare cog. You can fail that, and you fail it pretty often. Just keep trying till you get it 55%. Then go back to Abandoned Village. And now we have everyone's favorite part. Hoping for a good black market. To get the cleric, not getting a good black market has killed plenty of runs. So here you basically do get 3 tries in this run, as you're going to go up and get the chest. So we're going to walk to the ladder, run up the ladder, because steps on the ladder do not count, so you can run. You want to see if you get the cleric. If you got the cleric, obviously keep it as knight, and then just walk down to her. But we didn't get the cleric. So we're going to get the chest. Do it again on the ladder. We didn't get her. We're going to walk. Aha. So this would actually be a good run. This is kind of like a first try. So we're going to sell the coin, the cog. You can sell the bow if you want. We'll sell it. Sell the traveler's bow. Sell the dragon scarf. So you need 17,400 here. If you don't have 17,400, you can end up with 17,390 just go sell a plum or the plum basket. That'll put you over. You don't need these. So we're going to buy one of each of the small soul stones, 3 fires, and 6 light. You can just push right to go to 6. Exit out, and then we're going to TP back to Canal. Make it daytime. And we're going to run to Conning Creek. We're going to take these encounters. Going to kill them with soul stones. We don't actually want it. I mean, in a real run, if I got that, I would use a light M and kill it, and then we would get evasive maneuvers right now, and things would be a little bit faster going forward. But I wanted to maintain the integrity of the run, so I didn't kill it. I just let it flee. Though that does put us a little short on experience, so this might actually come back to bite us when Throne needs to do steals. So anyway, with the fish, light M kills those. There are some encounters that don't die so easily, so this is a good example. The 2 lizards do not die to the light S, so you need to use either the wind or the ice S, which they're weak to. So we'll use wind. So the encounter with the hermit crab type thing, that one needs the light S. So it's sort of like a game of chance, and you can't really predict it ahead of time. But these encounter, all of the ones with 3 just die to 1 small soul stone. The fun starts on the next screen, and this is where a lot of runs get killed. If you've done other categories, you are well familiar with going to conning. And we need to not be surprised by the bird. Ah, look at that, good luck. Fire M to kill. So we're going to do a menu here. We're going to learn the first skill with Ochette, and then a baiting orb is important. 2 skills with Oswald, doesn't matter which, and then armor corrosive for Throne. And then we're going to put heightened senses on Ochette, evasive maneuvers on Oswald. So heightened senses, earlier runs didn't get it. It is just nice to have the potential to surprise foes, just to make the run potentially a little bit easier. And it just takes like a second or 2 to do. You don't have to get heightened senses though. You can just get a baiting orb, and that's it. Evasive maneuvers is the important one. So then we finish this screen, and then we're going to do the same thing on the next screen and hope we don't get surprised as well. And it'll be the same encounter, and then we'll use Fire M to kill it. This might give me an opportunity to show you what you can do here. So if this happens, you absolutely, in the second encounter, need Throne to survive. So because Throne died, that's really unfortunate. If one of them would have attacked Oswald instead, we could just Fire M here and we'd be good to go. But Throne died, which is really bad. So the play is to actually try to revive her, hope that the enemies attack people who are full health, and then try to kill them. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to heal Ochette. And I did that because I saw that there was only 2 enemies between, not 3. So as long as they attack different people, we would survive. And then Ochette and Casti are in this right next to each other. So Ochette can revive, Casti can kill with the Fire M before the last crab attacks. I will say you cannot always recover that, and a lot of times you'll just die. And you need to work to recognize which ones are recoverable and which ones aren't, and it just takes practice. So we continue on to conning. We're going to get a tutorial. We skip, start Ochette. And we're going to go down here. We need to steal the wind owl. 55%. Hopefully you get it first try. Good luck. That's why we need Stormhail alive, otherwise that's going to be 15% and your run's not going to look good. We get the rainbow glass bottle for Inventor again, and then go over here to trigger the cutscene. Provoke. And then you just use a light M here and kill it. Easy peasy. Take the boat, go over here, just some story stuff. So I forgot to talk about it earlier, but this is a good place to say that if you got a Kate in the encounters leaving Canal, or a cultured Kate before Conning Creek, that's great, awesome. And you can potentially skip some stuff. The Kate itself doesn't really allow you too much leeway, though you do get a little extra money, and the extra levels help a lot. The cultured Kate gives you so much money, you can skip a couple different things, depending on what you want to do. There's a chest in here you can skip, but it's much more beneficial to skip a different chest later on. So for this encounter, it usually surprises you, which is pretty unfortunate, but it doesn't hurt too badly. Then you just use a fire M to kill him. Then we go around here. Get this chest. You could skip this if you get the culture cape, but there's a better one to skip later. So you probably still just want to get that one. Go up here, get the egg, and then we'll have 2 cutscenes to skip. Now we're going to go get Inventor. So go to your world map. Go to the New Delsta Harbor. You can run the whole way here and not get an encounter. Generally, it's better to run about 90% of the way and then walk somewhere around here to guarantee no encounter. You can run on this screen though, no worries. And then we'll run down to get Inventor. Get these 2 items here. This is why we're turning in our small soul stones, our critical items, stuff like that. Because this will give us elemental bottle bomb, or elemental bomb bottle, whatever it is. And critical scope. Okay, after we get Inventor, what we're going to do is we're going to go to jobs, make Castian Inventor, and then give everybody a step ahead. So everyone will have a step ahead. Castiel the Inventor. And we're going to TP right here. And we're going to go to Crack Ridge. We'll get an encounter on the screen. Hopefully you flee at the first try, because usually there's a lot of enemies here. If you're really unlucky, you won't flee. So I'll try to flee. No luck. Second try. Super unlucky. So this would be a huge, frustrating time loss. Because you're so much higher than those enemies. You really do expect to go first. It shouldn't be night here. It's just messed up because I've been playing slowly to do the tutorial. It should be day here. So we're going to run. This is a scripted encounter on the next screen. Hopefully we're not surprised. If you get surprised, you're probably dead. So what you want to do, so you're going to double attack the armor eater. Anyone can break the armor eater, which is nice. So for Casti, it's axe. For Ochette, it's axe. For Throne, it's sword. For Oswald, it's staff. So it's weak to axe, sword, and staff. So we break it, we use a light M, we kill. And we get some nice experience, some nice money, and keep going. So if you got a cultured Kate, you can skip this chest if you want. I still recommend this one and skipping a different one. I generally walk down here just to save some steps, and if you want to be super cautious, you can walk here too. Depends when you got the first encounter, and it just takes some practice. The first encounter here is going to be exactly the same as the last one. Didn't get surprised, good. So we attack, kill with the light M. Life is good. So I'd say if you got the cultured Kate, you would instead go up that way. But since we didn't, we're going to go this way. This is the furthest chest, and you can skip it with the cultured Kate for the 8.5k. So we go up here, we get the Thunder M, the Merchant. I make Throne the Merchant right now, just so I don't forget. You need to learn Hired Help. It doesn't matter what the other skill is, but Hired Help's the important one. Then you want to take a few steps and make it night, because what we're going to do is we're going to try to get the pig. Because we need to catch a Buttermeep for the next story part, and this is where we got to do it. And there's a 10% more chance that it shows up at night than during day. Now you can get unlucky, and have no pig show up repeatedly, like what happened here, which is really unfortunate. And we can't escape, so we might just die. This is why this run can be frustrating. Let's see if we can keep going. We might die in the next one too, if we get surprised or something. Ah, there we go. There's our pig. So when you get the pig, you want to use a Thunder M, soften it up. Then you want to capture with Ochette. And then you just use a light M to finish. And then we go to Crack Ridge. Now Ochette died there and we lost our latent power, which stinks, to be honest. We really like having Ochette's latent power, but what are you gonna do, right? So we need to go up this way and just make it night, because the next thing we have to do that's important is nighttime. We need to chop up the Buttermeep into jerky. And then we go down here. And then there we go. Make it daytime, run back around, and we're going to go underground. We'll get one encounter here. Generally, the surprise chance isn't too high. Don't go to the right like I did there. The surprise chance isn't too bad, but it can happen. Whatever the encounter is, we just use Throne and just use guards ×2. So merchant, hired help, guards. It'll kill it. Easy peasy. Pick up the great bow from this chest. We're going to sell that for money later. And head on down, and we're going to go fight Tera. This fight's scripted, not too much to worry about. So Oswald, staff ×2. Ochette defends. Rone, dagger. And then Casti, critical scope. Then Ochette breaks with her axe. Don't forget to switch her weapon. Rone, armor, corrosive. Casti is going to springy boots, but use it on Throne A. Springy boots, Throne A. And Oswald uses the window. Throne A is going to use beast ×4. Merchant, hired help, beastlings. So it's basically KO'd. Then we need just Ochette's turn. Then we capture it. Cutscenes here. Now we need to do a menu, and in all my years of Octopath, this is one of the weirdest single story menus. So first we're going to go to jobs. Ochette, 3 merchant skills. So she'll get boost start. Go to Casti. Merchant, 3 skills. And back to Inventor. Don't forget. Back to Inventor. Very important. Throne A. HP Thief. Back to Merchant. And 1 more skill. Menu support skills. Just give Ochette everything. Oswald, you take off a step ahead. Casti, you give boost start, but take off a step ahead as well. And then Throne A, boost start. So what it should look like is Ochette should have everything. Oswald should only have evasive. Casti should only have boost start. And then Throne A should have boost start and a step ahead. So basically we only want 2 characters to have a step ahead here. So once we figure that out, then we're going to TP. And we're going to go all the way over here to New Delsta. Now we're going to head east. Going to go north here. We'll get an encounter on this screen. Generally, we just try to flee from it. Surprise the foe. That's nice. The next screen, you can run the whole way and not get an encounter, but generally you would, so I do kind of advise you to walk a good portion of it. The encounter is low level, so your flee chances are still pretty good. Ooh, that's annoying. So we'll just try to flee here, see how it goes. Yep, easy peasy. Now the battles start getting higher level though. So we're going to wrap around here and cross the bridge. So this encounter, we're going to defend, then we're just going to kill it with Tera. So we're going to max, Beast Lord, provoke Tera, and this will kill it. Give us some money, give us some experience. If you surprise it, you can just flee. It's not a big deal. But it's easier just to kill it generally. And having only Ochette and Throne A with a step ahead means you don't waste extra time defending with some characters. We're going to get the same encounter here too, so it's just going to be the same thing. So we attack with Throne so she doesn't go before Ochette there. I'll just summon Tera Queen again. Now we gotta make it night and use Casti to put him asleep. Remember how we had the herb earlier? And then make it day before you go back into the mountain pass. So this is another area where a lot of runs can die. The chance you get surprised here is pretty good. But if you don't get surprised, you can deal with all of the enemies. So we'll see what we get. And then after that, I'll just tell you guys what you should do for most of the encounters. So we're gonna die. I'm just gonna throw this one. Actually, I'll talk about this one, right? So this encounter, if you're not surprised, is one you need to think about. So a fully boosted Tera kills most of the encounters, but with that one, you need to break the shrew in the front with either spear or axe. So what you would do is you would just fully boost spear with Throne, defend with Ochette, and then kill him that way. Otherwise, Tera won't kill them all. Let's see what we get this time. Alright, 4 shrews. Again, this is a little problematic. So with this one, you have to defend with Ochette. And then Merchant, Hired Help, Ruffians, which will debuff them. And then you kill them with Tera. So I'll say that we actually saw 2 out of 3 of the tough encounters. So the first encounter with 1 shrew and then the 2 little weasels, you break the shrew with 3 times spear. This encounter and then the double ape kings, where the ape kings have I think 5 armor, you need to Ruffians times 2 with Throne, and then Tera will kill them. Like that. So we got all our bases covered. And then any other encounter you get, you can just kill it with Tera. You don't need to do anything with Throne. And if you surprise them for some reason, you can just flee. You don't have to kill them. This is a really long screen and you need to pay attention to when you get the encounter. Anything before this is considered early and you need to walk a lot. Caught by surprise again. So this one, we're dead here. But I'm just gonna say for this one, you do need to do the double Ruffians times 2 before you do Tera, just like the last encounter we did. So 2 Reptilios, you need to use Ruffians. Let's see what else we can get. It's a pretty late encounter. Alright, 4 bats is good. Tera just kills us right away. We surprised, so if this was a real run, I would just flee. So Tera is going to kill everything here. So the other problem encounters are if you get double Mole King and the Drake, you just need to use axe or bow to break the Drake. And then if you get 2 Drakes and a Serpent, you need to use Ruffians times 2. And then we saw the Reptilios, that's Ruffian times 2 as well. We'll kill this just to be consistent. Boom. So we got pretty far here. We could run most of the way, but generally to be super safe, because another encounter would be awful, as I start walking right about here. And then we'll get to Stormhail. Start a new chapter. So before we start the story, we're just going to go do a mug. So we need to make it nighttime. And we're going to mug with Oswald. We'll just use a Thunder M here and it kills right away. Then we get Ogre's Bane, Imperial Axe, Thunderstorm Amulet, and then we're going to sell. Sell. Now we're rich. Make it day again, and then continue the story. You want to look at Ochette's health while you're in the store. Make sure she's full health. If she's not full health, you definitely want to heal her for the next part. Because we're going to have a provoke here. And this can actually, I don't want to say kill your run, but really mess up your run. So you really just want Ochette to be first on turn 2, which she's not, which is unfortunate. So first turn, you use a light M. And then he attacks. And that's fine. So that's normal, and that's how you hope the runs go. He can crit you and kill you. And what it does is it sends you out of the fight. And you think, okay, maybe I can just provoke him again. But the issue is you already used your light M. So you don't have your light M again. So you do actually need to reset from a save point if that happens. And at that point, you're losing a lot of time. So you hope that Ochette is either first on turn 2 or he does not crit. Here we're good, no crit, so max provoke Tera. And we're good to go. Good job. So now we're in the peak, which is a tough screen here. So I'll say that generally, unless you're pushing for a really top time, you want to walk. You're definitely walking. Save here. You're going to walk this whole screen. If you're pushing for a top time, you can skip the save and just hope that you don't die. Basically, if you're pushing for a no-death run. But if you're just playing normal, like 1 or 2 deaths are okay. You want to save there because if you die, the autosave is really far back. So we're going to save there. We're going to walk. We got to get this chest. Walk, walk, walk. Careful. Oh, man. This is brutal. Yeah, you shouldn't really get this encounter before. Getting that encounter is pretty rare. We're just going to pretend we didn't get that encounter and play it normally. So this way, after that cutscene, we'll say we didn't get that encounter. So I'll start with the good encounters, okay? The good encounters are 4 bats, 2 bats and a serpent, or the double mushroom. Those are the good encounters. And you can kill those with Tera ×4 and you're good. All the other encounters are going to need something to kill them. If you're really curious about doing it in a fun way, where you have to learn all the ins and outs, Alta's notes that are linked in the description talk about that. But I have a sort of easier solution that takes less memory, so it's more fun. So we're going to run this way. If you're feeling spicy, or you know all of Alta's breaks, you just go up this ladder, and you're good. But I like to have the insurance, so I go down here and I get the high sell. Now we may not need this, but it means we can kill any encounter that comes our way. We might actually not get an encounter though, because We had the one before. So I'm going to force one. Just to keep it realistic. Alright, see, this can happen pretty often. You get caught by surprise and you just die. See? We wanted it to be realistic, so here it is. Alright, so this is a good encounter. That's fine. We'll just kill it. So if you get a bad encounter, you'll use Tera, and then whoever's next just uses the Ice Owl to kill them. But if you get this encounter, and you're lucky, you can save the Ice Owl. That's a little insurance later. So I'm going to say this, and it's very important. Before the next fight, be sure you re-equip a step ahead. Do not forget to put a step ahead on. So remember, we took it off of Oswald and we took it off Casti. Do not forget to put a step ahead back on, otherwise you're screwed. So, with that said, we're gonna go fight Glacis. This fight is slightly different depending on whether Ochette has her latent power or not. So here Ochette does not have her latent power, so it's going to be a little different, and I'll talk to you about that when we get to her turn. But Casti, Springy Boots herself. Throne, HP Thief. Ooh, one miss there. That's why we get the accessories for her early. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Oswald Fire. And then Ochette. We're going to Precise Shot with her. I need to think for a second. Yeah, Precise Shot should be good. So if she has her latent power, you would latent power and Beastly Howl here. But she doesn't. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to Precise Shot. And this is good because we had a missed attack here. So turn 1 is the same for everyone except Ochette. Oswald's going to fire, Throne is going to HP Thief, Casti's going to Springy Boots herself, Ochette's going to either Latent Power Beastly Howl or Precise Shot. Turn 2 is just going to be different for what Ochette and Throne do. But regardless, Casti is going to be first. Elemental Bomb Bottle to break. Now, we didn't have latent power, so we couldn't use Beastly Howl. So here, Throne needs to use Armor Corrosive. If Ochette had her latent power, Throne would do nothing here. She would just attack. But here, we gotta use Armor Corrosive. And then Oswald does nothing. This is the same regardless of what's going on, just attack. If Ochette had her latent power, you can just use Tera ×4 here. But she didn't, so we're just going to do nothing here as well. Last turn, Casti, always crit scope. Throne, always beasts. Oswald is going to do nothing. And then Tera ×4 with Ochette. And we're going to capture. So Casti's the same nerf no matter what, Oswald's the same no matter what. But Throne and Ochette are a little bit different based on whether she has her latent power. A lot of cutscenes here. And then we're just going to go down to Beasting Village. Start some story stuff. Need to go back up. Talk to our favorite cat. And then go back down. You want to make sure Throne has her latent power here. If not, you need to go get an item to fix it, or you need to stay at the inn because she needs her latent power for the end here. We're going to run this way, and there's going to be 3 fights. They're pretty straightforward. So first, just need guards ×2. Then Glacis is going to do a lot of work here. So guards ×2 and Glacis ×4 kills. This fight guards ×4 kills. This can be a range though, so there is a possibility that this doesn't kill. It's only happened to me once out of a dozen or so runs that got this far, but if it does, you just need to use a small soul stone or like you know, just really anything that'll do a little bit of damage, and then it'll be there. If you still have the Ice L from earlier, you can use that too. 9 times out of 10 it'll kill, but occasionally you'll low roll and be unlucky. Last one, and guards ×3, and then Glacis ×4. And that'll kill him. And we're on to our last fight. Gonna go this way. This screen should be free, so you shouldn't get an encounter if you just run properly. And then if Throne has her latent power, you just run left, straight left, and then you're good. If not, you need to go get the chest with the lychee, I believe. Let me check the notes. Because I never do that, because I always just make sure she has it, but let's see. Yeah, there's a lychee L on the last screen before the owl. If you need to do that, you can actually reset the steps with the travel banter halfway through, and then you won't get an encounter, which is nice. Anyway, we just go left, start our last fight. Gonna get a lot of cutscenes here. So Ochette always does the same thing here. We'll talk, and then we summon. So Cassie's gonna springy boots herself. Rone's gonna HP thief. You're gonna pray to God it doesn't miss. Oswald's gonna fire. Cassie's gonna elemental, bomb bottle, break. Alright, so Throne needs latent power, armor corrosive, and then beasts. Now Ochette's going to use a baiting orb. In case y'all didn't know, this is sort of a not going to say glitch, but an unintended interaction where what this will do is make it so the boss is not gate kept at 1 hit point and allow us to just kill it on the first break. So we're going to use a baiting orb. It's not going to look like it did anything, but it is important to use. For Oswald, if he's after Throne, you can use the jam on Throne. Otherwise, you just defend. He needs to use the reinforcing jam on Throne before her next turn. Gives her latent power again. And Casty's going to crit scope. Throne is going to latent power. Beastlings maxed, and then Beastlings times 3. And then we need an M stone to finish. You should have an M stone left over. Or you can use the L if you want. M stone will kill it. Nope. The last boss is done, but we're not done with the run yet. Gotta get our meat. And then after a couple cutscenes here, it's time. Right after this one. So 1 hour and 45 seconds. Not bad. Not that the time matters for that. So that was a run through of the Ochette single story. Hopefully it's useful for people who like to see it and sort of like the explanation visually as opposed to perhaps reading the notes. I encourage you all to come to the Discord if you're not there already. You can reach out to me for help or just ask anyone in the Discord channel. Everyone's pretty friendly. I do think this is a fun run to do. Just praying sort of that you don't get surprised on those key encounters like you saw here. And then learning the different breaks is pretty satisfying as well. So yeah, hope you all enjoyed it. If you want, drop a follow on my Twitch, which is linked in the description. Follow the YouTube or anything like that. Not a huge self-promoter, really. I just want to help you guys out, but I do stream Octopath pretty often and other games sporadically. But hope you all enjoyed this, and good luck with your runs in the future.